So tell me how you come up with this. Like, what is the business model? Is it mainly, are you guys sitting in a creative room and everybody pitches? Is it a lot of pitching? How do you guys come up with these titles?
A lot of pitching, yeah. I mean, so we primarily were riding on the back of whatever's in the news cycle, right? So we want to be timely with it. We want to be writing about whatever people are currently thinking and talking about. So we wake up in the morning and look at the headlines, read the headlines, and when I say we, I mean my team. It's not me personally for the most part doing this. I do pitch ideas, but we have a whole team of writers who are, they're in the Slack channels, pitching ideas. It's all in the headline, right? We start with the headline. We don't create the image, we don't write the article, we write headlines and pitch them over and over and over again until we get one that's right. Or we iterate on it, and we've got like a seed thought that's good, but the headline's not worded properly. We'll keep rewriting it, tossing it back and forth until we nail it. And then once we got the joke in the headline, then we hand it off, get the Photoshop done, get the article written up and all of that. So we pitch, for every article we publish, there's probably 100, 150 headlines pitched.
That were turned down.
That didn't go live.
How many every day? How many do you guys post every day? Satire?
We probably publish between 5 and 10 new articles a day, depending on the day, and then we also repost some evergreen stuff from
So only 5 to 10 a day. So the entire model is to come up with the best 5 or 10 a day.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, people can only handle so much satire in their news feed, and they're only going to share so much satire. Yeah. So I don't think it makes sense to have a model where, like Fox News, we're publishing an article every 3 minutes, throughout the course of the day. There's just no way to inundate people with it like that. It's not the right kind of content. So we're going for quality over quantity.
So how much is, obviously, I would have to say the king of satire for satire business is Trump. He's got to be at the top. Right? I would put him at the top.
Oh, for who to satirize?
For who to target? Yes.
Now, okay, so this might be, it's debatable, but Trump, on the one hand, is low-hanging fruit, right?
He'll be offended if you say he's not, though.
He will. On the one hand, he's low-hanging fruit because he's like an outrageous personality. Biden, kind of the same way. He mumbles this gibberish sometimes. He's hard to understand. He says crazy things. He sniffs people's hair. He does weird stuff. It's easy to make fun of. But when you're exaggerating the truth to make your point, when the truth is, Trump is an exaggeration himself. So you got regular reality, then you got Trump, who's like a crazy guy, and then you got to try to exaggerate him. You're exaggerating an exaggeration. I find it more challenging to parody that which is already a parody of itself. So Trump seems like a character out of a movie already.
Yeah.
So I think it's challenging to parody things. In fact, I quote G.K. Chesterton all the time. He said back in 1911, the world has become too absurd to be satirized. He said that over 100 years ago. Today, we got crazy stuff happening, really crazy stuff happening, that actually makes the project of satire more difficult because it's hard to exaggerate something that's already so exaggerated and
So
extreme.
you didn't answer my question. So who would be at the top? Who would be the GOAT to satirize? Is it a Bush? Is it a...
Today, there's people like, I think Fauci is an easy one, because Fauci's been kind of on every side of these issues. He's said things that contradict himself over and over again. So we've made jokes about how Fauci debates, hit the 5 previous versions of himself.
It's not hard to do when you're the sexiest man alive. Like, it's got to be tough to do that, right?
See, that's funny. The fact he's like been on the front of magazines, but he's like this elderly doctor. It's just, the whole thing is just funny. It's bizarre, unexpected. So I think he's a good one. I think that the more outrageous the personality, like Trump, the more difficult it is. But also, when you just nail it, when you get it just right, I wrote a piece, a headline about how Twitter went down for a few hours, right? And so I pitched a headline to the team about how, he can't tweet because Twitter's down. This was before he got suspended. I'm like, what would Trump do? What would Trump do? Okay. Let's do a story about how because Twitter's down, he went out on the balcony of the White House and was just shouting his thoughts to whoever was listening, So we did a piece about during Twitter outage, Trump is out on the White House balcony just shouting his thoughts to whoever's in earshot, just to whoever, just because he has no other outlet for it. And it was funny. It got shared a ton of times because it was kind of believable, but also pretty silly. So for those reasons, Trump is fun. But it's really challenging to find just the right angle on him.
So if you like this little short clip from an interview I did, click over here to watch the entire interview. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.